This was really a wow moment of this is the soul speaking to the ego and letting it know and reminding it that it is here for a reason and it needs to be respected. It needs to be listened to. It needs to be honored. And to deny your soul a voice in your life is to deny your own existence and to deny your own personal power over your life. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mystic Temple Spirituality for a New Age. I'm Monica Bay, also known as the Divine Mother, and I am here to bring you truth. So, we took a little bit of a hiatus, but that's okay. Wonderful things are popping. Okay, I love to say popping. Wonderful things are popping right now. We got great things coming, and there will be announcement hopefully in the next Divinity session of something new that's coming out. And we have just so many great things that we're working on for Mystic Temple and part of the Global Awakening Initiative to really get everything out there and raise the consciousness of humanity by the millions. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are diving into the Book of Rasheeda, of course, and we today I'm coming with some heat. Okay, so this passage is super deep and different from the others in the way that it's structured. And it's really talking about the soul and the ego and what that really is. So we're going to dive right in. We're just going to jump in right now. We're going to dive right into the passage from the Book of Rasheeda for today, and it is as follows. Heed the warning from the soul. I am the power, the will, the nature, the being, the universe itself. Do not forsake me, for I am the key to your existence, your fulfillment, your living, your contentment. Be it not the wind by which you betray me. Come forth and embody me. Let us live as one until we are no more. Okay, now there's so many layers. As always, there's so many layers to that. We're going to break this down so that you guys fully understand. And I think you get it because this is kind of more straightforward, but this is actually the soul speaking to the ego. So I thought this was very interesting how they put this together. And at the time this came through me, this was back in I think 2023 or 2022. I don't remember the date right now. But when this was downloaded to me, it was I don't think I realized everything at the time. And then obviously coming back to revisit the passage that was written and analyzing it, and then also speaking with the cosmic collective consciousness, channeling more information about it. This was really a wow moment of this is the soul speaking to the ego and letting it know and reminding it that it is here for a reason and it needs to be respected. It needs to be listened to. It needs to be honored. And to deny your soul a voice in your life is to deny your own existence and to deny your own personal power over your life. Because it says, I am everything, basically. It says, I am the power, the will, the nature, the being, the universe itself. Do not forsake me, for I am the key to your existence. Think about that for a moment. How many times do we ourselves believe that we are the only thing, right? We have this illusion of separation, which we've talked about a lot here on Mystic Temple. And this illusion of separation allows the ego to exist because the ego can't exist without that. The ego exists as that I am. That's what the ego is. And so when if we don't believe we are an individual being separate from everything else, the ego cannot exist. And so the ego is there for a reason. We don't focus on ego death, we focus on ego control and whipping it into shape, getting it in line, making sure it stays in its lane because the ego is there for a reason. But the soul is supposed to be driving the ship, the soul is supposed to be steering the ship and in that driver's seat. But what happens is we don't allow it to do so. So to deny that is to deny the key to our own existence. The ego cannot exist on its own. It cannot exist on its own and achieve everything that it's supposed to achieve. You're going to end up in a whole cycle of rebirth and chaos if you allow that to happen. So the soul is a very, very important component to our existence. And when I say our existence, I'm referring to our existence in this human body, in this physical plane, as we have incarnated for this human experience. That is our existence that it's referring to because it's talking to the ego. The ego only exists in your current existence. In another existence, you have a different ego. So as we reincarnate and we move in from lifetime to lifetime, we embody different egos. And so in this lifetime, It's speaking directly to your ego to remind you what's actually important and who's actually important, or it's really what, but your, because the who is that separation, right? But the what's important is the coalescing and the working together between the soul and the ego. So again, just to quote the passage, it says, "Let us live as one until we are one no more." What does it mean by that? Why let me break that down. Let us live as one. Like I said, the coalescing of the soul and the ego together in this lifetime, in this human experience, until we are one no more. Death. Then you separate. The ego falls away and becomes an imprint in this physical plane and in the different dimensions here. The soul moves on. So let us be one until we are one no more. So it's a reminder that you're coming here to work together, not separate, not separate. And that's on both sides. So this is a heed the message from the ego. And the word heed is important because heed is a warning. Okay. So this is reminding you of what's important. The soul's important. But the fact that it ends with a saying about let us be one until we're one no more, that's a working together. So that's also really showing the importance of the ego and bringing those two together. And I want to go back to when it says, do not forsake me, for I am the key to your existence. So the key to your existence is literally everything, because without the soul, you're nothing. You're just a shell. You're just an ego is just an empty character in the game. Okay. There's no person behind it. There's no consciousness behind it. Your soul is everything. It is the key to your existence. So why did it say, do not forsake me? Because how do we forsake the soul? What is the soul? The soul is our inner light, that light inside of us that has incarnated and has come here for a reason. That is the soul. Your eternal source energy, that is the soul. How do we forsake that? We don't listen. Same way we cause our own suffering. We don't listen. We don't listen to our higher self. We don't listen to that inner calling. When you hear that inner calling, know that the majority of that is coming from your soul. Sometimes you may have spirit guides that are speaking to you, ancestors, all of these things, right? But your soul is the core of everything. Your soul is that driving force. So if you're not listening to that driving force, then you're going to go off the rails. And so do not forsake me, for I am the key to your existence. I really want you to just marinate on that. Just let it in. Because that is a very, very powerful and important statement if you understand it. And it's reminding you to forsake your soul, to forget it, to ignore it, is the ultimate betrayal. And also, let's go back to where it says, I am the nature, the will, the being, the universe itself. It's basically telling you that it is everything. And this is what we talk about a lot here in Mystic Temple, is the divinity, and how we have divinity within us and we are divine, and how we are part of that current of energy that flows through everything. And so is the soul a part of that. The soul is a drop from the ocean, but when it goes back into the ocean, it becomes the ocean again. And this is what we are. And so this reminds you, I am everything. So stop looking outside of yourself. Stop praying to things outside of yourself and focus inward on the true master within, the true current of source energy, of divine energy that is within you. Do not forsake the soul. And not forsaking the soul isn't just about spiritual growth, because I want to be very, very clear, and this passage is also very clear, that not only is it saying that the soul is everything, but it's saying, I am the key to your existence and your fulfillment and contentment. So even if you're a person who that's not driving force enough for you to just have spiritual growth, what about living a happy life? Okay, understand that when you have depression, that is your soul unhappy. Know that. There's a lot of different things that go into creating that depression, but at the core of it, it's coming from your soul. That's happening at the core of things. It's coming from your soul. It's your soul's frustration with your current circumstances, or with you not listening, or with the pathway that it's going down, and it's trying to get your attention, showing you its dissatisfaction. So when you are, and I'm not even just talking about depression, just dissatisfaction or unfulfillment with life, which most people have. And why do most people have that? Because they're not listening and they're not giving their soul a voice. They're focusing mostly on their ego and they're moving through their ego only. Even pseudo spiritual people, a lot of pseudo spiritual people are still just moving through their ego. They're not actually letting their soul take the wheel. And that's what this passage is warning you about. It said, heed the warning from the soul. And so it's really important that you understand your role and that you yourself, as the identity that you want to identify yourself as, whatever those labels are, you yourself are coalescing of these two forces, multiple forces, but these two main forces in terms of making up how you are moving through this world and what's the source of that. It's both your ego and your soul working together to create what needs to be created in your life and in this world because we have life purpose and our life purpose has multiple layers to it. We have impact. What impact are you supposed to have on the world? It doesn't have to be a big impact. It could be just on a few people, one person. What impact are you supposed to have? Which is, you're here to have an impact of some sort. Everyone is different. Also, what about your soul growth? What are you supposed to gain out of this lifetime in order for your soul to grow to the next level so it doesn't have to keep repeating cycles? Because if you don't meet that purpose, you continue to repeat cycles. And your soul contracts, which also really refers back to the impact point. Your soul contracts that you have with other people, other beings, other animals, whatever is here on this earth. You have a soul contract with everything that you interact with. So these are all important, but again, everything relates back to the soul. But the ego is a way of helping the soul move forward, only if the ego is working with the soul. So is your ego working with the soul or is it not? Are you constantly rejecting things that you know to be true from deep within? Are you constantly rejecting those things? Are you constantly afraid of your gifts? Are you constantly pushing things away that you know you should be moving towards? Are you constantly moving in a direction that you know you shouldn't be moving into just because it feels good in the moment? That's ego. That's ego. If you listen to your soul and allow your ego to be applied to the path, then you're on the right path. Again, it's a coalescing, it's working together. It's a symbiotic relationship. It's not one or the other. This is why I don't promote ego death, okay? But we do need to rein it in because the ego likes to take control. And unfortunately, in this world, and the reason why the world is the way it is today, the good, bad, and indifferent, especially the bad, is because of the ego, is because people fail to realize this. And this is why the cosmic collective consciousness brought this back into the Book of Rasheeda to let the world know a warning and a message from your soul to your ego. Are you going to heed the warning? Are you going to make sure that every moment of every day you are following your higher self? You are following your soul. Are you going to make sure you're doing that? Or are you going to just allow yourself to say, well, I've always been this way, so whatever? Okay, there's a lot of you that are watching that say that all the time. So you say, well, I've always been this way. Guess what? You're not one way. We have a whole entire lifetime. We grow and we change, and all this needs to happen for a reason. So you're not always the same. So don't act like you can't change. Don't act like you can't take control and become a better person and become a better vehicle for your soul to enact in this lifetime, because that's what you're here for. Talk about it. And that's why it says, be it not the wind that you betray me. Why did it use the wind? Because the wind is very fleeting, it's very free, it's very random, seemingly. So that energy and the energy of air, it's very fluid, but it's also erratic and can be very chaotic. So be it not the wind that you betray me. They're really talking about distractions by just a whim, just whatever. Like I said earlier, oh, this is something that feels good in the moment, so I'm just going to do that. This is something that I don't want to pay attention to, so I'm just going to do that. Be it not the wind that you betray your soul for simple, silly things that don't matter. So first of all, you shouldn't betray your soul by anything, but definitely not things that are irrelevant. And unfortunately, a lot of us focus on things that are not important, that are literally irrelevant to our existence. And so that's why this message is so clear. Heed the warning from the soul. Do not betray the soul. Definitely not by random things. Stop getting distracted, which is part of your ego. Your ego allows distractions to happen. And this is part of the challenge of this game, because this is a game. This entire this entire existence is like a video game. And like any good video game, you have to have a lot of challenges. Your ego is there to pose a lot of those challenges for you. And so it's up to you, though, not to allow those distractions to take hold and not to allow yourself to get off your track. And it's not about, oh, you can't have anything fun. You can't. No, because remember, listen to what the passage said. I am the key to your fulfillment and your contentment. So if you are following the soul, it's not like you're not going to be doing fun things. It's not like you're not going to enjoy life. You're going to actually enjoy life more, because I'm sure when you allow your ego to lead you, it doesn't lead you down a good direction usually. It doesn't lead you to fulfillment. It may lead you to some money. It may lead you to material things. It may lead you to feeling good in the moment, fleeting happiness. It may lead you to that. But it is not going to lead you to true fulfillment and contentment if you are not leading from your soul. And that's just a fact. And so you can fact check that against your own life, and you will see you will see that is the only truth. That is the only truth. So why is this so important? Because right now is your opportunity to change. Right now is your opportunity to take your life in your hands and take your happiness and your fulfillment in your hands. For those of you watching, aren't you tired of not being fulfilled? Aren't you tired of not being fully content with where you are in your life? If the answer is yes, I'm tired of that, then take action. And for those of you who are fulfilled and fully content with your life, then congratulations, you are listening. That's where we want to be. But I know many of you are not. And this is why this message is here for the entire world to hear, because it's extremely important, especially in the age that we're in right now, with ushering in this new world, that you take heed of this message right now so that you can get on the right track and be in the light path and not the dark path of negativity and suffering and all of these things that we create for ourselves. So the core of this message, because it says embody me, the core of this message is to allow the coalescing of both. I always talk about duality. There's duality in so many things in our existence, and this is another. The duality between the soul and the ego. Allow them to work together, not against each other. It's important that they work together, because that's what this is all about. And in the next divinity session, we're going to do a shamanic journey that will help you really embody this coalescing, this balance between the ego and the soul, but letting the soul be the core, because it is the core to your existence and your happiness and everything. So with that, I will end with a prayer in the divine language, which essentially means peace be unto you. Zora Kumti. And I'll see you next time.
That hums through broken chains. Don't look away, don't you dare hide. I am the storm beneath your tide. Feel the weight, feel the weight of every choice you hesitate. Your tethered soul, your destiny. Your destiny. The wind it bends but never breaks. A fragile truth the size am the fire in your chest, the voice that